My name is Dominique Mohammed. I'm 29 years old. I'm from Portland, Oregon. And this past year, I've faced and defeated one of the toughest battles that I've ever faced in my life. When I was 20 years old, I was diagnosed with Hodgkins Lymphoma stage 4. I'm gonna bring on fellow cancer survivors to show you guys not only that you can beat any cancer, but that you can beat your zombie, whatever that is in life. Thank you for tuning into this episode of BeastvsZombie. Today I have a friend of mine, Paxton Donaldson, with me. Him and I we have the same type of cancer diagnosis and have gone through some similar things. So I'm super excited to get into it. So let's get down to business. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
So you had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yes,
Same.
I did. That's insane.
So how'd you find out you had cancer?
So I know I was talking to you a little bit about what I do for work. So I do sales, working 4 months through the year, and the 8 months I have completely off. My first year, so I've been doing this for like about going on 4 years now. After my first year, I went back to my parents' house, do my regular routine. I go to Lifetime to go work out.
Yeah.
I go to Lifetime. Like the second day I get back, and one of my buddies, who's like a really good friend for like 10 years, he noticed something on my neck. So I know I was watching yours. You had something similar on I think it was your neck as well. Mm-hmm. He was like, bro, why is your neck so big? Mm-hmm. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I had no idea, right? And then after the gym, I go in the bathroom, go look in the mirror. And my neck, like right here, is like noticeably bigger than this side. Like it was huge. I was like, holy cow, how did I not notice that? And that's when I first noticed it. And I told my mom, and one of my mom's friends passed away from thyroid cancer a couple years back. And she like kind of started like freaking out a little bit. She was like, hey, you gotta get this checked like now, ASAP. So that's exactly what I did. Went through a couple nurse practitioners. They had no idea what it was. And then, long story short, didn't even find out what it was until 2 months later. And that was in September. I didn't find out until November of what it actually was. Right. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I had a lump in my neck. It was my lymph node. It was my lymph node was swollen.
Yeah.
And it was just like you. Like I'm working out. I'm in shape. How old were you?
I was 19 at the time.
I was 19.
Yeah.
I was 19. I was in college. I was working out a lot. I was super healthy, right?
Yeah.
You were at Lifetime.
Yeah. No.
And I didn't have any other weird symptoms that like you said, like I didn't know.
I had nothing.
Right. I had like a little bit of low energy that I noticed, just kind of being like in tune with my body.
Yeah.
I remember telling my mom like, man, I'm tired for no reason. I experimented on myself. I woke up one morning, I didn't go work out. I just went to class, which was like a later morning class. It was like 9 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And I made sure like I rested well before and all that. And I was like, man, I'm just tired for no reason. Like, I don't really understand what's going on. And then I had a lump in my neck, and I still didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just like, I didn't really understand what was going on with my energy.
Yeah.
And I went to my chiropractor at the time, and I tried to get my neck rubbed out. Like, I thought I just had a knot in my neck.
Just kind of pulled it a little bit.
Yeah, so I was like, man, just rub this out, you know.
Yeah.
I think I should be good. And he couldn't rub it out. He couldn't rub it out. He told me to go to a doctor. At the time, like I'm here in Vegas, but all my healthcare was still in Oregon, underneath my parents.
Oh, nice.
And so I went back like during the holidays and eventually like found out through like biopsies and tests like what it was and stuff like that.
Yep.
Man, very interesting. We had the same exact same type of cancer. So was it stage 4? Like for me, it was considered stage 4 because it was below my diaphragm when they found it. That's what
Like it was like bulky in my chest, but there was like some below my diaphragm, which
Interesting.
like made it stage 4, I guess.
And did they say like what letter it was? Because I know that they're telling me now they're starting to classify it as like letters, so like stage 4A,
Okay.
or like B, C, D,
Yeah.
E, F.
I didn't get a letter.
Okay, because I got a letter and I was like, oh, I've never heard of that before.
Okay.
So I just didn't know if you had that same
What
thing.
letter was stage 4?
Mine was A, which
stage
is
4,
good.
which is good.
Not good, but good,
Right.
better than what could have happened.
So when you get the news and they diagnose you and you're with your doctor and they give you a treatment plan, was it like a 70% chance with the first treatment that like you would get through that and you would be good?
Yeah, he said it was. He gave me a lot of reassurance. Like it's one of the only cancers where he would use the word curable.
Yes.
And my mom was ecstatic for
Yeah.
obvious reasons.
Right.
And then I was pumped. I was like, oh, nice. Like that's could
Right.
be a lot. Or it could be like lung cancer. Could be something like terminal. Or like Eric, he had prostate. That's
Yes.
that's a low chance.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
So I'm grateful, but it was a blessing.
It's crazy because you feel good, like you felt good
Yeah.
when you did get cancer. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like I didn't feel like I was gonna die, right?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I agree.
like,
I agree.
and just like your mom was concerned, my parents were very concerned. I mean, I was still concerned, but like
Yeah.
I knew how I felt.
100%.
You know, so I didn't feel like I was dying or
Yeah,
something
100%.
crazy was going wrong, other than what the test had shown and what the doctors were telling me.
That's so crazy.
So it's like it's very interesting to get a cancer, to have
Yeah.
cancer, but not feel any type. And then
Yeah.
here we are now. Like, how many years has it been since you officially have been like in remission?
Probably it's going to be, I believe, 2 years in June.
2 years. Yeah.
2 years going on. 2 years,
Sick.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You as well.
That's dope.
You as well. It's awesome.
And so, what was your treatment plan? What kind of treatments did your doctors put you through?
Yeah, so I first found out, so I found out twice. So one of the times was in October, but I didn't find out really until November 2nd from an actual doctor oncologist who specializes in the cancer. He told me that when I went in that second time, I need to do 6 months of chemotherapy, no radiation, bi-weekly. So I did that from end of December to, I'm sorry, I think it was beginning of December until May 15th. I think that exact day was my last day.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I drove 11 hours to Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And went and
Yeah.
did door to door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went out and
And you felt good.
I felt good. Yeah, I felt great. I just wanted to get out there. Like every time after all the treatments, because it was bi-weekly, and you probably have a similar experience.
Yes.
Probably similar treatment, what they use and stuff. For me, it was 4 days of hell. To be honest, like that was like first day. It was tolerable. Second day, it kind of just got progressively worse. Second day was like, worse than yesterday. Third day was like the worst day.
Yes.
And the fourth day got a little bit better.
Yeah, 2 days. I remember for me specifically, 2 days after was the worst day.
Really?
Was the worst
Yeah.
day. But the day of, you're kind of on medications. You're
Yep.
kind of still okay.
Yeah.
But and then like you said, then you start to feel better, and then
Yeah.
you gotta go back.
Yeah, no, exactly. I enjoyed it for like a week and then back to it again. But I like Eric said, he was really the one that kind of changed my mindset about going through chemo, because when I first got diagnosed, I was like, wow, like what do I do? Then like I remember vividly when I first got told by my first doctor, not the actual oncologist. The first doctor told me, yeah, we suspect it's like stage 2 Hodgkins lymphoma. So then right after that, we both left. My parents drove themselves. I drove myself. We both go to our cars after that. I looked to my left where my parents were parked in the window, My mom's like bawling her eyes out. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was like, damn, I guess this is pretty serious. And then Eric, I talked to Eric when I first got diagnosed. He kind of put it into a perspective like it's all like mental. Like it's all mental. Then after that, he told me that advice. That was probably the best advice I could have heard in that moment because I literally had no idea what to do.
Right.
So then going through all those treatments, it was 12 treatments total, bi-weekly, 6 months. And I think the same thing he did. I always went to the gym after it. Always did something like the stair stepper, for like an hour. Just there's something to get my body moving because every time I go back home, lay in my bed, it's actually worse. I feel worse laying in my bed and resting than actually like moving and doing something. So then, I don't know if you saw my Instagram page or anything.
I did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so I did something wild in between my third and fourth chemo treatment. I ran 48 miles. I did this challenge, this David Goggins challenge, running out 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours straight. And in my head, it kind of sounded easy. Our company put it on as like a competition.
Yeah.
It was like a group of us. It was like a group of 12. And I texted one of the guys who was kind of hosting it. I was like, yo, like, let me in. When Eric told me that's all in your mental, I was like, okay. Well, I guess I have a choice here where I could kind of succumb to whatever it is. People would probably understand, or I could deal with that adversity and make something good from it.
Right.
And make it kind of turning a negative into a positive with that story and kind of just inspire people to get up out of their bed, you know, or like if they have a similar cancer diagnosis, like you know how it is. A lot of people our generation is getting it more and more. I think even me doing that, I like to believe if I just help one person do that, I feel fulfilled.
Right.
And it all starts here. And I didn't learn that unless he didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
So now, that challenge is horrible though. That was horrible. My doctor was like, dude, what are you doing? Because I almost got pneumonia after that. It was all bad. I couldn't walk for like 3 days. It was, my knee was like in complete shambles. So, but I'm glad I did it.
And you busted it out.
I busted it out. So it's a good experience.
I think that's really cool, you know, and that's, like you were saying, turning something negative into a positive. That's really why I made this podcast, you know. I beat cancer twice, and I was like, man, something has to come from this. I have to be able to tell my story. I would like to inspire people that are going through challenges to be able to like show up for themselves and overcome what they're going through and like help them out mentally, right? Yeah. And I said, I'm gonna do 1,000 episodes. And if I help one person each episode, if one person is helped with each episode I do, then that's a win.
That's awesome.
So it's like literally exactly
what you
just
awesome.
said.
Yeah, that's crazy. Holy cow.
So
that's good.
Yeah, man. And like, so for me, going through the whole journey, right? I always wanted to be normal. Like, right, I didn't want people to like view me as like handicapped or to view me as like you said, they would understand. Yeah. Right, which is totally fine, but like I didn't really need them to understand or want them to understand. I wanted them to understand that like I'm confident, I feel good, I'm okay. Yeah. And like so 100%. For me, I played a lot of basketball. Nice. I didn't really like keep working out, like lifting any weights too much. I just stopped everything. And my physical activity was just like playing basketball as much as I could. And like, so some days I get like a couple games in, some days I could play like longer. Yeah. It would just be like, depending on how I'd feel. Yeah. But that was able to give me like a sense of normalcy to go out there and like move normal like I had been moving and be going through chemo. Yeah. Right. And you know, people don't know if you don't tell them. Like, I don't know about you, but my hair got thinner But like I didn't lose all my hair at the time.
I didn't either.
Most of the time. So I looked pretty normal, and I was moving around pretty normal. So that, you know, feeling normal was a big part of getting, and like you said, it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing. So it's kind of like how they say your mind doesn't know the difference of what's real or what you're just thinking, right?
Yeah,
so like
definitely.
you can kind of like, you know, brainwash yourself into thinking whatever you want to think.
Exactly.
You know?
Like I hated people feeling pity for me.
Yeah.
Especially going through what I was going through, because we always have like a company cruise every single year. And my company did like a whole GoFundMe for me and stuff, and like raise all the money, which was freaking awesome. And on the cruise, one of these guys that came up to me, it was like January 5th, after everyone already knew I had cancer. He was like, hey, what's up, bro? Like, you look so familiar. Are you, what's your name? I'm like, Paxton. He's like, oh, you're the one that had cancer, right? I'm like, yeah. I didn't really care for him to say that, but it was more like almost like an identity thing. Like I don't want to be associated with the guy, the cancer guy.
Right.
So then I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Well, let's change that.
Yeah.
That's also kind of why I wanted to do the run, kind of prove that like I'm not that guy. Like I am, but that's not what is defining me as like a person.
Yeah.
So then that's why that's actually kind of why I did the challenge. That test myself, test my abilities, and then I just hate people feeling sorry for me. That's why I'm not sensitive at all to talk about it, because it's like, it happened, get on with it, get over it, deal with it, get on with your life.
Right.
So
you did that initial 6-month treatment, and you've been clear ever since.
Yes.
That's good.
I know you had that second time. How far in between did you get that second time?
So I did my first 6-month treatment. It was like an ABVD treatment.
Okay.
And initially, like, my body responded very well. And then afterwards, the cancer kind of came back, and I basically, for a long time, like, just had a little bit of cancer still in my chest. And then so we did like some low-level radiation treatment. We did some other chemo treatments, and then eventually I did like an immune therapy treatment. So it wasn't like it was like administered like a cancer, like a chemo through my IV, right? But the treatment wasn't breaking my body down like chemo was. The goal of like an immune therapy treatment, basically, like from my understanding, is it kind of gives your immune system more of an understanding of the cells to target in order to kind of like eradicate the cancer out of your body.
Interesting.
And so it kind of supports your immune system to beat the cancer, opposed to breaking you down to beat the cancer.
Okay.
And at that time, that was again every other week. And so I was still here in Vegas, but I had decided, like, originally I took school off. Like I let my responsibilities go and was like, okay, I'm gonna like get healthy.
Yeah.
And luckily I had support and was able to do that, you know.
Nice.
But then I got to a point where I still wasn't healthy, but like I was feeling good. I had gone through like all this chemo, and I was like, man, I gotta finish my schooling. Like that's kind of like in my mind, my next steps like in my life. Again, a sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
Right. And so I went to UNLV at the time.
Nice.
So I would fly back and forth to Oregon, where I'm from, to get my treatment every other week.
Which part?
I'm from Portland.
Oh, nice. Our family in Newport.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
hours
So I was back and forth every other week getting those treatments done, and then eventually, like the goal eventually was to do a bone marrow transplant. And so I had to do a bone marrow transplant, you have to get into remission in order for them to like basically accept you and take your case, and for you to move forward with the transplant doctor and start that process. So I get into remission, and the first transplant, So when you're signing up to do a bone marrow transplant, they put you in this database because they're trying to find a donor that's an exact match for your blood to give you their T cells. And so they put you in a database. And for me, I had never found an exact match.
Really?
I actually have a buddy that had got a bone marrow transplant, and he found like an exact match in Europe, like through the database. Like it was crazy.
That's crazy.
Like it was insane. And he had leukemia actually.
Oh wow.
And so, and he was like a black guy, so he found an exact match in Europe. I don't even understand how that works.
Crazy.
I don't even understand how that works.
That's
So it
wild.
was insane.
Yeah.
But him and I shared the sense that like we both have bone marrow transplant, and so I only had like a half match from both my parents, and then my sister's like a quarter match, which would be which at the time when I was first getting a bone marrow transplant wasn't an option. You couldn't do a half match or a quarter match.
Had to be a full match.
So it had to be a full match. So I gave myself my own cells, which I don't know like if it makes sense, and it didn't even work.
Oh wow.
To give you like the bone marrow transplant actually didn't even work. And so I went through like all of that. I was in the hospital. You're in the hospital for like a month, like quarantine, because you have no cells, because you're immune compromised is what they call it. And so it didn't work. I gave myself my own T cells out of my bones because like I didn't have cancer in my bones, like in my T cells. It was just in my lymph nodes as far as what came back from all the tests. Yeah. And so it didn't work, and then afterwards I used the immune therapy again and was in remission again I was in remission for 3 years. Wow. And then it came back the same way I found out originally. My lymph node was swollen in my neck, and I immediately knew, because I can't really explain it, you kind of just feel it. You kind of can just tell by where you were at, and since you've been healthy, and then when it happened again, you could feel it. And so I went back. I had to get another bone marrow transplant. Oh jeez. Now I live with my dad's cells. Nice. So like fast forward 3 years, they can do half matches now. Really? That's like a technology thing. Like I can't even. Well, there you go. So like I got lucky. I don't know. And so now I live with my dad's cells right now, and it's been about 3 years again. Congrats. Thanks. I'm in a pretty good spot. Nice. I like in my adult life over these last 10 years, I haven't been like this far into remission as an adult. That's good. So that's awesome. It's pretty fun, like in the gym, like getting stronger. Like physically, I've never been this far as an adult. So that's good. What was your reaction when you kind of got diagnosed that second time? It was honestly very way more nonchalant, way more like, okay, gosh, I'm still dealing with this. I have to beat this again. But it was like superior confidence, like, okay, I've done this before. I'm gonna just do this again. Yeah. And that's awesome. Which felt good, but it honestly kind of messed me up, because like I was getting another bone marrow transplant, so I'm like, oh, I've done this before. I'm gonna just do this again. The second bone marrow transplant was probably one of the worst things I've ever done in my life. I heard it hurts. It does not hurt. Really? That's false. Whoever told you that. Okay. Whoever told you that was completely false. So a bone marrow transplant is just a blood infusion for like 15, 20 minutes. Oh. So it's not, the parts that hurt are like getting like a bone marrow test. That's what I heard then. That was probably one of the most painful things I've ever felt. Yeah, because my doctor asked me if I wanted it, because that's actually how we knew it was stage 4A. Okay. Because there was traces of it going into my bone marrow. Mm-hmm. He asked me if I wanted to get a test for it. He was explaining about it. I'm like, okay, well, is it the same treatment regardless? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay, I probably don't need it. Don't need it. I'm just gonna skip it. That was a great choice. So let me tell you this story. Let me tell you the story about my first bone marrow test. So like just like you, like I'm very confident, and I think it's a very mental thing. I tried to lead by example with my attitude. Nice. for myself,
Yeah.
but also for all the people in my life that were supporting me. And I just wanted to make it clear that like I'm gonna beat this thing.
Yeah.
And so when the doctors asked me about getting a bone marrow test, they asked if I wanted pain medications. And I asked them, well, do people do it without pain meds? Like, I understand they're recommending like, yeah, you should probably have pain meds. I'm like, okay, well, do I need it? Like, have people done it without it? They're like, yeah, people have done it without it. Okay, I'm gonna do it without it. Like, I'm like, this macho guy. I'm like, I'm gonna do it without it. I don't need it. And so we go there that day, and basically a bone marrow test, like they have to like dig in and scrape into your bone and then like suck out a sample, basically of you, like the middle of your bone. And so I'm sitting there on the table on my stomach, and they go in like in your like lower back, like spine area, similar to where they do like a spinal tap.
Yeah.
And so she goes in, she does the sample, right? It's like a lot of pressure, but like I'm like breathing through it. Like I'm like I kind of like get through it, I breathe through it. It's pretty painful, but she pulls out the sample and she's like, we didn't get the sample, we have to do it again. So like I did it, I did no pain meds, I got through it, and she like didn't get the sample accurately. And then so I'm like, okay, I'm doing this again. And so like, mind you, this is very painful. Like I'm breathing like very hard. It probably looks crazy from the outside looking in, like my mom's watching me. And so like the lady's like on top of me with like a huge, like whatever they use to screw into my back and grab it out. So I can't see it because I'm just like extremely focused on trying to like deal with this pain for like super quick.
Was that on your back?
It's in my back. And I remember like there's like a hole somewhat that I put a Band-Aid over. And to be honest, like afterwards there was not a lot of pain. Like I went and played basketball. So afterwards it was okay. It was just like during like, and they numb the area, but you can't numb your bones, right? So she does the second sample, doesn't get it again. I think it was finally the third sample that she got, and she finally did it. And so like moving forward, I had to do other bone marrow tests because I was getting like a bone marrow transplant, and then like I got another one, and then after it, they have to test to make sure that there's still nothing there. And so I got in maybe 3 or 4 like during this whole journey. And after that, like I requested a different doctor because I didn't want her to do the same thing. And I don't think it was really, maybe it was her fault, maybe it wasn't, because I'm sure she does them all the time. So whatever, I just requested a different doctor. And because she was like, yeah, you have like the hardest bones I've ever seen. Like, and so whatever. So the doctor, he was a guy, and he used a drill, which seemed like it was way like more seamless, way quicker, and he got it the first try.
Oh, nice.
So I do remember, like the first time they did it, I didn't feel any type of real pain other than like getting into the bone. But there was one time where it actually like you could feel kind of like struck a nerve like down your leg when they pulled it out. So yeah, definitely the bone marrow test was probably one of the hardest and one of the things that hurt the most in this whole process.
Yeah. Glad I didn't do it.
But yeah, so you're lucky you didn't get that. Man, like to think like we had like the same cancer, it took you 6 months, it took me like all in all like 10 years. Damn. And I've had other buddies like you that we both had lymphoma and they got through the first 6 months. So like maybe it's just me, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the deal is.
Did you ask the doctor of why, I guess what the cause was of why you got the cancer?
Yeah, they don't tell you.
Yeah?
What did he tell you?
I asked him straight up, be as blunt as possible, why did this happen to me? He's like, Paxton, you got the short end of the stick. And I was like, fair.
Yeah.
That's fair, yeah. He said bad luck.
They say it's luck.
Yeah.
They say it's random. They can't tell
Yeah.
you. They can't give you a clear reason
No.
on why you get cancer.
Yeah. And then after that, I was like, oh, well, there you go.
And then I got the short end of the stick. I was the 30% that doesn't get cured in that first 6 months. So I got the shorter end of the stick as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So how did you feel about your doctor? Did you trust your doctor and what they were saying?
I love my doctor.
You love your doctor.
I love my. He's like, when I first walked in, he had like all like these plaques and awards of like best in Las Vegas, best oncologist, best voted by best people. I'm like, oh wow, damn. And the only reason I got in with him, who was supposed to be like the best doctor, is because if you remember that first doctor I went to who first gave me that stage 2 diagnosis, they were golf buddies. So it just kind of happened to work out. I went to him first, and he's like an ear, nose, and throat doctor that I got sent to from my nurse practitioner. He told me, get a biopsy done, biopsy back, suspected for stage 2 Hodgkins Lymphoma. Right after that, he like called up my doctor now, and he sent me over there and got me in like that. When it's supposed to take like at least 3 months to see him.
Takes way longer. Right?
Yeah, so I got in super quick with him, but he is by far, hands down, I might be biased, but probably the best doctor I've ever seen. Because every time like me and my mom is asking questions or just anything, he is so like calm and reassuring and just so patient and just makes you feel like it's just not a problem at all. Like it's just not a big deal.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was like, oh, sweet.
Like you feel
Great
confident that he knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah,
Which is like you need that when you're dealing with something like cancer.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you're with your mom, she would go to your appointments with you?
No.
No.
Like my chemo treatments?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I went solo on every single one. She wanted to go with me on the first one.
Yeah.
And I said no. And then my girlfriend at the time, my ex now, she wanted to go with me, and I was like no.
Yeah.
And then I went solo dolo, and then single for that. Great. It was that experience solo is definitely money can't buy. And I'll say that.
Right.
It's an experience like no other. And going through it by yourself is like no other. Even though I chose to like not have my mom there, I wanted to do it by myself. I feel like it's more like a sense of like knowing that I can do it.
Right.
So I want to do it, and then then to finish all of it, and got balloons at the end.
Yeah. Did you ring the bell?
Yeah, I did ring the bell. Yeah,
when
I
you're
did.
done with treatment?
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good time.
Dude, that's cool that you chose to like deal with this like all like by yourself. I know for me, like I learned a lot about myself going through all of this. I learned a lot about like the people that support me and the people that don't support me, right? And you know, I'm definitely better because I've gone through this, and like you said, that you felt good, you know, going to chemo. Because there were some, like a lot of the chemos, I would sit there by myself. Yeah. You'd sit there like like I've done all types of different chemos, so like some you would just be in and out in like 4 hours, or like some I would be there like all day. Really? Like, cause right at some points they changed my chemos, so like it would be like an all-day event doing chemo. And I'm just in there just like grubbing on snacks.
Yeah, it's like free snacks.
I love the free snacks.
I love that.
I'm just passing time. I'm always the youngest person there. So it always kind of looks crazy that I'm in this place with like all these like older people, or all even like these sick people. Like I don't appear to be like super sick. Yeah. Like I'm a pretty like upbeat, you know, high energy guy coming in here. Yeah. It's like, why am I here, you know?
Yeah, all the people looking at you now.
They all look.
Hi guys.
and I kind of honestly like feel bad for them because, like you said, your doctor has told you have like a curable cancer, so you feel confident, you feel good about everything you're doing. You know, you're kind of just doing what you need to do to get healthy, and a lot of those people probably didn't make it.
No.
honestly.
Yeah.
Or are
I
in
realize
like
that same thing.
really bad situations that isn't ever going to be controlled, or they're just like maintaining it to try and survive as long as they can. You know, so that was always something that hit me.
Yeah.
Whenever it wasn't like I didn't feel bad that I felt good. Like I tried to feel good to, like you said, like somewhat be like inspiration for them. But it just kind of sucked.
Yeah.
To see the way they had what they're going through.
Yeah, and I feel like it almost makes you feel more grateful. It was this cancer instead of sitting next to someone who has like stage 4 lung cancer, like stage 4, anything else really, like brain cancer. Like I remember vividly sitting next to this older lady. I always chose to sit by myself. Like there was like I did it in Vegas.
Okay.
There's like sections. I don't know if it's the same thing for you. There's like 4 sections I gotta choose from. I always chose like the back one, like the back chair on like the corner, so it's slanted.
Right.
And then this one lady sits next to me. She's older, and she was like probably 70s, like late 70s. She told me she had like stage 4 like breast cancer or something, and like it was going bad. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like it just made me so much more grateful. I have this knowing I'm gonna be out of here in 6 months, instead of her who she's been dealing with it for like years. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
My cousin's grandma had brain cancer like so like we were kind of going through the process around the same time, and like she didn't make it, unfortunately, but she lived a lot longer than actually doctors expected her.
That's good.
Nice. But again, like feeling grateful for the type of cancer you have is for real, because like we, I guess, got the short end of the stick, but we're kind of lucky.
Oh,
and we made it through, so we're actually kind of better from that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
You know, a lot of times I say it's actually like one of the best things that happened to me. It sounds kind of crazy. But it definitely made me better in a lot of ways. It changed my perspective in how I think about life, how I think about people, and my purpose and what I choose to do with my life as well. So, yeah, I think it changed me for the better, for sure.
I agree. Like some people ask me, like, how do you feel about it now? I'm like, grateful. I'm glad I got it instead of I have 3 older brothers, instead of one of my brothers or like my girlfriend got it.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was me.
Right.
And I'm glad and I'm grateful for that experience, because it does make you more grateful for life and appreciate what you have. I think.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I always say this, like, I even appreciate just like getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
I went through some times, like after a bone marrow transplant, it's pretty tough. You're, like I lost like probably like 30, 40 pounds of muscle. Like I'm not like a big like guy in general, right? So like
it's a lot.
If I'm like 170, 180 and I lose like 30, 40 pounds, you know, on me it is a lot. And so you lose that, you're trying to get your cells to come back, like, right, you got like a new set of cells in your body, so it's getting used to your body, so your body's like messed up in all these kinds of ways. And I remember there was days when I didn't want to or didn't have the energy or the strength to get up out of bed till like well deep into the afternoon. And like I'll never forget those times.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never forget those times when like I could barely walk around my cul-de-sac. Like, and it's nice outside. It's like nice like this. It's sunny outside. It's like summer. I'm in Oregon, you know, and I can't get up to just go take a walk outside. You know, my mom's like, yeah, we can go for a walk. I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling it, you know? And so like being able to look back on that and then like see where I'm at now, you know, always makes me feel grateful for the small things.
100%.
You know, the small things seem like more important, and maybe those weren't like, maybe if you like think about it, it's actually not like small things, they're just things that you don't think about.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what would you tell somebody, like you've been through some stuff, what would you tell somebody that's going through a challenge in their life with their health or with finances or something like that, with work or a relationship, what would you tell them to help them, overcome the challenge in their life?
I believe life is almost kind of like a track, like a high school track, where there's hurdles, and you can either jump over the hurdles, the multiple hurdles, to get to the finish line, or be stuck behind the hurdle and never jump it. I think everyone has a choice to whether they jump it or they don't. And I believe if they always say this, like in my company, whoever thinks they can or can't are both right.
Yeah, they're right.
So if someone believes they can't do something, they can't get through it, they're right. If they believe they can get through anything, they're right. And I believe massively you have to have a massive setback to have a massive comeback.
Mm-hmm.
And I strongly believe that. Everyone is going to go through stuff throughout their life, and I believe it's all about how you react to what happens is what really matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's your decisions and what you make of something that happens is what is going to define you and the outcome.
Right.
So I would say it's all mental. If you think you can, you can't. If you think you can't, you're right.
You're right.
And just jump over to the next hurdle, or don't. It's your choice.
I love that. I agree with that wholeheartedly, for sure. Like, I think your life, I think you're 100% responsible for everything, like good and bad. And I say that, I honestly don't believe in good or bad. Things just happen, right? And like you said, things happen a lot. It might be in your control, it might be out of your control. Regardless, it happened. It's real, it's life, right?
Yeah.
And that's the experience. And so what you do with it, how you respond, like you said, defines you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that, you have to always jump over that hurdle. Otherwise, that's like procrastination or whatever you want to call it, anxiety, fear, right? Of jump. Maybe over that hurdle is unknown.
Yeah.
Maybe it's scary because you've never been there before, you never tried that before, it's new, it's uncomfortable, all that stuff, right? And then the longer you wait to jump over that hurdle, the harder it gets to hop over it. Like the book, I always refer to this book, Eat That Frog, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have you ever read that book?
I've never read that book.
So, it's corny. So they talk about, if you were to eat a frog, how would you eat a frog? And they explain, and it's a song about it's a book about time management and procrastination.
Okay.
And they tell you should eat it right away, immediately, so that it's done. You hopped over the hurdle,
Yeah.
right? You got through it. You can move on to the next hurdle, the next challenge, whatever is next in life, right? And if you don't, you procrastinate, right? You're looking at the frog, you're thinking about, you get all these what ifs, you get fear, anxiety, and then you probably never do it. That's procrastination. And so it talks about attacking a fear. They say the cure to fear is action, right? Taking action, jumping over that hurdle, taking that next step in your life, right?
Yeah.
And continues to move forward. Just like I know, the only thing constant is change. So things are gonna change, right? And it's either gonna change in the direction you want or the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And it's on you to make sure you keep going in the right direction.
1,000,000%.
Right.
I agree.
Cool.
It's all on you.
Well, that's all we got today on this episode of Beast vs. Zombie. Thank you, Paxton, for coming and sharing your story with us,
My pleasure.
sharing how you think about overcoming challenges in your life. I really appreciate that.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. And go follow the podcast at Beast vs. Zombie on all social media platforms. Follow on YouTube and Spotify. You can see these full videos that we have going on. And make sure you check out the website, BeastvsZombie.com, to get any type of merchandise
and support cancer. Have a good weekend, you guys. Be a beast.